Start.
This meeting is being recorded.
And go!
Hi guys, I'm Danielle. So I'm from the Content Factory. I work as the creative director, and this is Nathalie.
Hi.
Nathalie, introduce yourself.
I also work for the Content Factory in operations. We also have May here on the call.
Hi, I'm May.
Are you going to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, I'm May. I'm the managing director of Content Factory, and we're very, very happy to be here with you guys. I just wanted to say that we have great expectations for this cohort specifically, but also because we tried all the products as part of the selection day, and that was and I really, really do believe this selection is on point, and congrats to everyone, and we're very, very excited to be working with you on your brands and to take them to the next level.
Yeah, like May said, we actually had the chance to explore and touch and feel all of the products, and we actually are absolutely in love with each and every one of your brands. So we're really, really excited for this cohort. We also have done some homework and checked out all of your Instagram pages and any kind of marketing material we could find. And it's really amazing that with all of you, we have such a great place to work with. I think all of you guys have such special brands with really nice stories. So yeah, we're just like super excited to be working with all of you. So I'll go ahead and share my screen and just give a little intro about who we are as a business. Okay, I just share. I think everyone can see. Okay, cool. So at the Content Factory, to put it quite simply, we like to make things look cool. So we are a production studio / creative agency that works here in Dubai Design District. And we are fully owned by the Shenhu Group. So we cater to a lot of Shenhu brands, but we also work with a lot of brands outside the group. I would say probably we work with a very large number of fashion and beauty brands and some lifestyle brands, but definitely fashion and beauty is kind of, I would say, our specialty, of course, because we are part of the group, but we do also have some clients outside of that. The way that our agency works is that we have these kind of like 3 key pillars. So the first is strategy, of course. So even though we are all creatives, we do like to work with a very nice strategy with all of the brands. So when it comes to the strategy and the direction part, this is where we really help brands creating their brand Bibles, brand story crafting, looking for purpose, mission, vision, values, brand architecture and positioning. When it comes to communication, we also consult a lot on specific guidelines that include like tone of voice and your identity, a communication strategy, a content strategy. We also do media planning, performance and acquisition. So that's where May comes in with some very amazing expertise from her background, which I think will help a lot with this cohort. Then we have the design studio. So this is our creative team. So here we have a nice group of creatives where we work from anything from visual identity, graphic charts, logos. We work on UX, UI design, any kind of like marketing collateral. So very focused on a lot of graphic design, motion design, things like that. And then we have our production arm. So this is where we work on a lot of campaigns, whether it be large scale, small scale. We have a studio here in D3 where we shoot most of our content, but we also do shoot a lot on location or in larger studios if the project is quite big. We have a lot of our own internal resources, and then we also work with a very nice pool of photographers, videographers, retouchers, and all that. So yeah, this is kind of like how we split our work here at the Content Factory. This is a little sneak peek into some of the people on our team. As you can see, we're a team of 15 and we only have one guy, Munzer, who works with us. So we're very female orientated. And we are trying our very hardest to hire more men, but it seems to be some kind of trend that we have here. But So our team is split in two. We kind of have our business arm and then the creative arm. So under the creative, there's myself, we have Christina, that's an art director. We have a lead producer, copywriter. We have a handful of multimedia designers. We have a videographer, editor. We also have a nice little army of interns who work with us on different creative disciplines. And then do you want to go over the business side?
The business side.
The business side.
So there's May, and then there's me and Anna that currently work a lot, are the points of contact with the brands. So we'll be your points of contact on this cohort. This is maybe it for now.
Basically, it's not as fun as the creative side, as you can see, but definitely like we all work very well together because we do have a very strong arm of when it comes to project management, account servicing, business development. So yeah, definitely you'll be hearing from Natalie and Anna quite a bit. So why are we different? So we just put together some slides to give you a little more into why we believe that we are different. So the first is that actually we believe when we look at the bigger picture and we try to explain what we do, we always come back to being storytellers. So the actual inception of the Content Factory came from us actually having our own magazine. So we started around 3 years ago with a magazine called The Modern East. This magazine was an online magazine that was publishing content that was targeted to like a young millennial audience that's here from the Middle East. So we had a really nice crew of contributors and writers. We covered 6 different topics that range from fashion, beauty, and lifestyle. If I could compare or pin it to something, it could be something similar to like Refinery, but maybe the Middle Eastern version. And we were producing a very high number of pieces of content per day, every day. And this is really where we started. So we started off as a publisher, and we were a joint venture with a company in Paris who is in the publishing sphere. What we noticed when we kicked off the magazine was that a lot of the brands that were coming to us, instead of actually wanting to invest in advertising, they were very interested in the way that we were producing content. So at that time, everyone who was producing content for us were young millennials from the region. So we had a lot of different creatives working with us, writers, videographers, who we kind of started to build this crew. So we started selling content on a white label basis, and then it actually started to become our bread and butter. So that's when we opened the Content Factory. So all of this to say that when we actually started the company, we were really coming from a perspective of storytelling. The narratives were very important, and all of this kind of carries into the way that we create content for brands. So the storytelling is always kind of at the heart of what we're doing. So we don't like to create content just for the sake of it, but like, what is the story that we're trying to tell? How are we going to say it in an effective way that's maybe different to what other people are doing? So this is really something key that we focus on. The next part is our creative collective. So this is kind of like a very large creative community that we work with. So when it comes to our team, we have our in-house team that's made up of 15 of us. We also have an extended team. So our extended team, these people include a lot of photographers that we work with on a monthly basis, videographers, retouchers, copywriters. We call them our extended team because a lot of them are on kind of like longer term contracts with us or retainers. And then we have the creative collective, which is kind of the third layer. So the creative collective is a black book of all of these very interesting and beautiful artists from the region that we've kind of curated. We've done a lot of research, looked at different people that we like to work with. This includes like calligraphists or illustrators, different photographers, videographers. And we work with these guys on kind of like one-off projects. So whenever we receive a brief from a brand and we're working on a concept, if we find a creative that we really believe kind of suits the same aesthetic, we see ourselves as like the creative matchmaker. So we're kind of like the middleman between the brand and the creative, and we kind of like facilitate this partnership. So this is very interesting when we're working on a variety of different types of projects, but definitely supporting local talent is something that's very important for us and kind of incubating all of these talents around us. So yeah, that's something that's something that we're very proud of, actually. And then our third bucket, which is of course the fact that we love to innovate. So we really love to look at a lot of different types of formats. We're kind of always on the lookout for what's next in content. What are cool things people are doing? Why is everyone obsessed with Reels and TikToks? And how can we help brands get on those trends as well? So our team is made up of mostly, I mean, apart from some of us, Gen Zs or very young millennials, and they really help us stay up to date with what's relevant and what's not. So yeah, this is a very important pillar for us. To end, I'll just show you guys our show reel. I hope that it works and that you guys can see it well. If not, we'll send you the link. It's just a minute of our latest work, so you guys can check it out. Hope you guys all got to experience that with the music well, but that's just a peek into some of our latest work. And here's
well done.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And this is just some of the brands that we've worked with. So that's us. Does anyone have any questions about the Content Factory that we can answer?
I have a question in terms of just, obviously it's terrific to be able to work with the Content Factory throughout this time period. It's more about understanding if there's also an opportunity for us to be able to connect with freelancers in the meantime for like maybe content pieces that we want to create on our own outside of this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so the way that we'll be working together over the coming months is that each one of the brands has a bucket that we're spending together on content creation. So that's the first fold. And then the second one, of course, is the consulting arm where we'll be working on either a workshop or a talk. But anything outside of that that you want to keep doing as like business as usual, it's completely cool, but I don't think that you can allocate the content budget outside of the partnership between us.
Okay, thank you so much. That was helpful.
Cool. So yeah, so what we kind of wanted to do next is that we do have a slot that will be coming up when you guys are doing all of your boot camp, where either we can work on like a workshop or we could do a keynote. Previously, we had actually done a presentation on branding and social, but after reviewing a lot of what you guys are doing already, I think a lot of you are actually quite advanced or very clear on your brand identity and where you see the brand. So that's why I kind of wanted to leave it open a little bit today to maybe discuss some of your pain points to see how could we tailor make something that would be interesting and beneficial to everyone. It could be something interactive. Maybe you guys could let us know some of your pain points when it comes to content creation or marketing. And then following that, we can have a small discussion. We haven't yet decided how we're going to allocate the budget that you guys have to spend on content, because we will be having some discussions with faces to see what kind of content they require to help boost performance. So probably the budget will be split between doing some brand content, but also doing some performance content so that we can help you guys and faces drive as much traffic to the website as possible. So maybe we can start with the first part, which is more about the workshop and the talk, and maybe you guys can let us know any type of like pain points that you're experiencing when it comes to branding or creative or content creation, anything like that. Does anyone want to go first?
I'm happy to start. Yeah, I'm happy to start. So our brand has mostly been launched in the US market. So we're not as adept probably in the Middle Eastern market. So it's actually just about better understanding the type of consumer that the Middle Eastern consumer is, especially the UAE consumer. And two things, kind of first one is what type of content do they kind of gravitate towards? And then what's the best medium in order to actually be able to do the outreach? Because in the US, TikTok's like blown up like no other, but I don't know if that's the same in the Middle East. So it'd be actually just understanding best type of content and what the best medium is to get that across. Pretty basic questions. Sorry,
No,
I
but
think
it absolutely makes sense. I think as part of what we do discuss with you guys at the very beginning is who your target audience is, who do we believe, for example, based on everything that we know from consumer research and everything like that, would be also a good maybe customer archetype to add on or to tweak one of your customer archetypes, especially in the sense of a brand like yours that is active in another market and is looking to activate into a new market, let's say, within the life cycle of your brand. So this is definitely a conversation that we can have. We can also give you a recommendation on, like I said, consumer archetypes, exactly which medium or media to reach them are best to reach them, and what kind of content would make the most sense. There's that level of things, which is on kind of the organic side of things. And then from the performance side of things, which is going to be in partnership with Faces, that is going to be a bit of a three-way conversation depending on where they know what works for them from a performance perspective. And then we add on to that a little bit of information on best targeting, etc., based on your individual brand.
awesome. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it.
Us too.
Can't wait. Does someone want to go next with any pain points?
I have a question, or I guess, oh, sorry, did I cut somebody off?
No, you go for it, Celia.
Okay, sorry, Lee. Anita, and I'll chime in if I'm, not capturing everything that you want to ask. But I think for us, building our community is something that we really need to work on, and getting any guidance there in terms of increasing followers, but also getting more engagement and encouraging user-generated content. Also, specifically for us, we haven't really touched on TikTok and knowing how important it is. I think that's something that we can definitely use a lot of guidance on in terms of what content is best to put on there and how to kind of develop that. Those are kind of the two main areas that I can think of that, in addition to what Zina was saying about, catering that to the Middle Eastern market as well.
Yeah, thank you, Sophia. And then just to add to that, I think just keeping in mind as well, like presentations for the last 2 days and what you guys presented in the video, I keep thinking of, how fun as it should be and engaging obviously for the target consumer, Gen Z and so on. And I think for us, it's so interesting because that's exactly like when we launched this brand, it's all about how can we get like serious issues that nobody sometimes wants to talk to because it's like, war, poverty, social impact, but make it fun and engaging that it can truly transform into impact. So how can we capture that? And that's why like the mission of our brand is like drop by drop, like step by step, like as consumers, we can make big changes, but how can you translate this mission in a very fun and engaging manner, but still in a way that it's still serious, but not, not superficial. I don't know if I'm catching right. So how do we get the social impact to become the day-to-day thing that consumers can truly feel empowered to make changes, however, small they may seem?
I think definitely with that, you're already in a great spot because the Gen Z is like a target group in itself. They really believe in brands that have a purpose and brands that have story. They're very into, they're like very socially conscious. So having a brand
Woke.
Yes, they're all woke. Basically, they're very woke. So the idea that that's actually already there and it's very genuine as well. This idea of being a genuine brand is something that they can't be fooled, you know? So if the proof is in the pudding and if you are doing something amazing, you're already more than halfway there. It's just about how to communicate it, which is definitely something that we can help with, because for sure, it's something that's very important to that generation if this is someone that you want to target. And then it's just a matter of how can we communicate with them in a fun way, which is something that we know how to do. So that's great.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And then,
yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to ask if May, you wanted to mention something about the first question, which is all around building the community, increasing followers and engagement.
No, absolutely. So the whole thing around what we're going to do at the very beginning together is establishing, again, like I said, who your target market currently is versus or who your audience currently is on your platforms, be it your social platforms or your website, etc. And then we kind of look at if there's a bit of a disconnect between that audience and who you're trying to target in the future. If there is none, then that's great. Then we do a lot of lookalike modeling, making sure that you are targeting kind of similar profiles than the ones as the ones that you already have. Versus if there is a disconnect, which is always sometimes it's not a bad thing. There's always a lot that can be done in terms of tweaking the type of messaging, doing kind of like a messaging matrix depending on your different target audiences, and ensuring that these messages or those key messaging criteria that we have are instilled within every piece of content, and whether that works on an organic level or on a performance level as well is something that we're going to make sure we have synergies with what we're doing with Faces, with you guys. Even if you're doing your own performance marketing outside of this program, we can definitely help kind of give you a lot of tips and tricks on how to do the targeting, etc. And yeah, it will all work out in a synergistic way.
Thank you.
I have one question. Can you hear me?
Please.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. Yes, I have one question because with the product, I am already busy with reaching out to influencers and yeah, so they can create content, try out the product and give their genuine feedback. But because it's a really new product, what I see happening now is that sometimes, even though yeah, the explanation is there, it's yeah, because it goes into your body, outside your body, that sometimes, for example, the mask is created without the superfood, or it's just not yeah, how the product should be used. So therefore, I am at the moment busy with, because I'm based in Dubai, to reach out to influencers and to really, for example, gather an afternoon, having influencers and local people together to create, let's say, content together, really lovely content, and yeah, to spread the word in a good way, in an innovative way, yeah, because it's such a new product. And my question is, would it be possible, for example, this afternoon, when gathering those people together, to work together on the content, yeah, together for this program?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I can let Danielle speak more to this, but definitely within the initial conversations that we're having, if this is a very big part of your content strategy, if this is where you believe is something that's going to go hand in hand with your objectives of either community building or more education around your product, etc. It is definitely something that we can help with when it comes to kind of populating that content, making sure that we get the best out of an event, let's call it an event, get the best kind of bang for our buck when it comes to content out of that event.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. I think May answered most of that one, but definitely like helping you guys with anything like that is something that we can for sure do while we work together. Yeah.
Thank you.
Rosemary, what about you? You have any pain points that you're experiencing or questions?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I have tons of questions, but I'm not sure how technical we're going to go on this initial call. But just right off the bat of like my thoughts, do we get a budget for Instagram and Facebook directly to promote the media buying and booking?
I will let Sinead answer that one. Sinead.
Sorry, can you repeat that again? Apologies. Sorry, Sam.
No worries. Do we get a budget to be allocated on Instagram and Facebook as digital marketing?
Yeah, so good question. So basically the way we're running it is you'll have like 10K that goes towards like your marketing efforts. 5K is given to the content factory. So the reason why they don't have like a complete breakdown now is because this cohort is super different from what we had in our last two in terms of like, you're quite good in terms of the assets that you have and everything. So when they're going to ask for the rest of your assets today, and when they have that, they'll review it and then we'll start understanding where is like some gaps and stuff like that. The other 5K goes to Faces for performance marketing. So they have a dedicated team. So that's why me, Danielle, and Sarah will have a meeting with them after Eid to understand what worked in the last ones, but also what trends are happening now and everything, so that the performance element is working really well. He'll break this down, and this will be a combination of, it could be Instagram, it could be Facebook. It'll be a combination of whatever Faces know works super, super well, because obviously a huge part of the benefit of this program is that you're going to be online and offline in Faces. So, and you're going to have like quite a nice space on the platform as well online. So we want to make sure that we have really good content that drives that. So it's going to be a good mix between Faces and the content factory.
Okay. So if I understood correctly, the budget of Instagram and Facebook goes to the Facebook and Instagram of Faces, not the direct brand.
Yeah. So they manage it on the behalf for each brand. So they'll spend 5,000.
So they will promote our brand on their platform.
Yeah.
Using the budget.
Yeah.
If I can add something here, there are instances where Faces, again, it's kind of up to them knowing what works, because at the end of the day, the whole objective is sales on their website, right? But if Faces see it fit to add a component of branded content, which is a partnership between, you know, when you have your ads that say in partnership with, etc. That is something that they might add into the mix, where it does, if the ad will be coming out of your account, just the landing page will
like
be Faces
and Salma Loves Beauty on Instagram.
Okay, exactly. Perfect. But the idea of it is not really for awareness and branding. It will always have a landing page element on faces.com. Yes.
Okay, cool. Perfect. I guess like as there's going to be more details and technicalities, but that's good. Thank you.
It's going to be super cool as well, and you'll get to meet Fahim at some stage as well, who heads up the Faces side for performance marketing. He's really, really cool and detailed. So once we have more exploration after Eid and stuff, all those kind of meetings will start kicking off again. You're going to have a very busy period for the month of May, by the way. You're going to be in so many calls. So I hope you're all looking forward to it.
We are.
Good.
I am.
Yeah, can I just ask a question on best practices?
Yeah, for sure.
So I know there's two schools of thought on this, but I'd love Shahub Group's just perspective on this. What are your thoughts on actually creating separate Instagram or TikTok accounts for a region as opposed to having just one account? So there's one school of thought that says just have one, right? Just have one, let it be the global one. Other school of thought is, listen, the holidays, the intricacies of different markets are very different. you know, Eid, Ramadan, stuff the US doesn't celebrate or other markets don't celebrate in the same way, you should have 2 separate accounts. So I just love just what the perspective is. I know like a lot of global brands actually do have 2 separate accounts, and would just love to just better understand thoughts on that.
Are you asking, you're asking for me, or you're obviously asking Content Factory? Or
I
is it
think
me?
Of course, if you'd like want to give your perspective also, that would be great.
Well, my perspective is no. I'll leave it to the professionals.
yeah, I think
You're
they
a
will
professional
be
too.
the perfect person to answer this question. So go ahead.
Hi. Okay, so there are definitely different schools of thought, but to kind of structure the conversation a little bit, there has been a lot of updates to the way algorithms work when it comes to thinking about something like Instagram versus something like TikTok, etc. And it really, the answer that everyone hates is that it really depends. It depends on several criteria. First, what kind of segregation do you have between your organic content, and what kind of strategy do you have for performance? On something like Instagram, for example, Instagram is really meant for general brand building from an organic perspective, but most of what you're going to be doing from a localization perspective or from a personalization perspective to your different target audiences is mostly going to happen across the ads that you're going to be running. Versus something like TikTok, where now, because TikTok is kind of booming, the algorithm works in a very different way, where a lot of your content anyway ends up being seen organically. So this is where we can argue, yes, TikTok, it makes sense because of how raw the content is, how localized it needs to be, and how much it is, how different it is from Instagram with its brand building kind of objective. There is an argument to be said about TikTok having separate accounts for different regions, especially if those regions are quite different in the way you would be brand building in them. And for Instagram to have the one account, general brand building with localization across the performance activity rather than on the Instagram feed itself.
I think that was a great answer. Okay, that was helpful to think through. Thank you.
I was going to say the exact same thing. Thanks, mate. Thank you for taking that there for me.
Yeah, me too.
No worries.
Okay, cool. Did anyone have anything else? Oh, Sinead, you're on mute, but I can see you talking.
No, sorry. I was just saying to Sarah that I crack myself up sometimes. Sorry, just self-praise over here. We all need it sometimes. Ah, Kavish, Aratna.
Just want to say hi. We managed to catch, I don't know how we did this, but we're on the plane right now. Canada.
Hi guys, you look like you're going on your honeymoon.
Whereabouts in Canada?
To my hometown, Ottawa.
Oh, cool. I'm from Montreal.
So Toronto, Ottawa. Oh, nice.
Oh,
Very
amazing.
close.
It's right
An hour
there.
and a half away.
Yeah.
Do you need anything to pick up?
Do you need some maple syrup or I don't know what else?
Okay, deal. We'll
Done.
bring it back to you.
Okay, great. No, we actually already finished introducing ourselves, and we were just discussing that we have an upcoming either keynote or a workshop, and we were just discussing some kind of pain points to see how we could tailor this session to answer a lot of the needs of most of you. So that's where we are now. So did anyone else have anything to say?
I had a question specific to that, actually. So we've been our brand is only 3 months old, and we've been experimenting with performance marketing with various marketing agencies. I think we've seen good and bad, but on both cases, a lot of views and a lot of traffic and audience, but the actual conversion is quite low. So even if you would go to cards, but the actual purchase wouldn't happen. Is that something that you can advise?
And is that money related? Like,
I can answer
does that mean you add like, okay.
we definitely can advise you guys on where in the journey people might be dropping off. It could be a disconnect between the ads that you're running versus what people are finding on the website when they do land there. It could be a disconnect between it could be a disconnect in any way, shape, or form in the journey itself. But it depends on where the issue is. If the issue is a lot of traffic, but they're dropping off, so you have a high bounce rate, or it's a lot of traffic that's not bouncing, but they are adding to cart. It could be something within the journey, kind of very, very lower funnel that you need to work on. Maybe your shipping information, or maybe there's something there that is preventing people from actually converting, versus if we do kind of do a very small audit of the journey, and you have everything that is running correctly on your website, everything is clear, everything is not hindering conversion, such as really high lead times when it comes to shipping, etc. I'm sorry, but I really have not had the time to audit that. We can look at the entire journey and let you know where it could be, the issue could be. However, I would say that you preface this by saying that the brand is only 3 months old, and there is a lot of testing and learning that needs to be done for at least 6 months before you can kind of gauge whether you have an issue or a winning strategy, etc., because of just the seasonality of how ads work, the seasonality of shopping for your specific product, and then we kind of go from there. We see if there are any technical issues, if there are any messaging issues, and then whether or not it's just a seasonality issue.
Okay,
On Kavish and Aradna's behalf, I'll just say thank you. I think they're
They
actually
heard me.
flight, by the way. I actually think they're like in the flight. Like,
Yeah,
took
they're
off.
on the plane. Aradna WhatsApped me and she was like, sorry, we're on the flight. There doesn't seem to be internet. I'm like, that's totally fine. And then I see Kavish like popping in, being like, nope, they're not giving up. That's
Dedication, I love
dedication to
it.
the program. I love it.
It is being recorded, so they can always fast forward to that part.
I guess that's a lot of information for us to take back, and May and I will sit together also with some of our team members and see, okay, based on our conversation that we've just had now, like how do we want to formulate the session that we have together? In parallel, we'll also be meeting with the Faces team when we come back from the Eid break. And in this forum, we're going to be discussing what their plans are, what are some best practices that they have for performance. Also, like re-looking at some of the results from last year, because of course, as Sinead said, a big part of the program will be to take as much advantage as you can of the retail space, and our job will be to see how much we can support you. So based on this conversation and really understanding the needs that are going to come from Faces versus what you guys already have, then we'll be able to kind of split and see what we can offer you guys, whether it be in branded content. We can either work on content strategy, or we could work on having actual content assets. So it could be like a small photo shoot or some video pieces. So all of this is a little bit up in the air until we have these next conversations. So yeah, it's very exciting. And I just wanted to thank all of you for being here today. And we're super excited to work with all of you. May and myself and a lot of other members of our team are already like big beauty buffs. So we are very excited, both on a professional and personal level, to be working with all of you and with all of these cool brands. And should you ever have any questions or want to drop us a line, please feel free to email whenever. We're here to support with any type of questions. And yeah, that's it really. Say bye, Nat.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
It's been lovely officially meeting you guys. And yeah, like Danielle said, anything you need, even if we haven't kicked off yet, just drop us a line and we'll support as much as we can.
Thank you
Amazing.
guys. Hope you all have a very nice Eid break.
Thank you.
You
So
too.
founders,
You too.
stay here. Don't leave yet, founders. Content Factory, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. But yeah, I'm just gonna, before I leave, I'll mention a few things for the founders.
All right.
Thanks, May.
Cool.
Thanks, team.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.
See you. Okay. Aradna, Kavish, honestly, I can't deal. This is you're the funniest thing ever. It's made my day. But so guys, we've just kicked off like our first week of intros. I hope that this gives you a lot more clarity and excitement as well for what's ahead and what's about to come. I spoke with Faces and Beauty Nation again yesterday. Like we're trying to get everything aligned together, and we're trying to understand how do we best map out this process to get everyone a smooth onboarding online and offline so that we can kick it off all together. So what we've come up with off the back of yesterday's call, so from the week of the 9th to the 18th of May, I'm going to start populating meetings today, and it's going to basically be where you're going to have one-to-ones with the Beauty Nation team. It's going to be like a 2-hour intense call with them where you're going through absolutely everything from the onboarding with them, how you're going to do marketing with them, how you're going to do everything. They're going to map out from there all the ways up into the launch. And you're going to be doing the exact same with the Faces team as well. And this is going to also include like your demand planning and forecasting and product stuff. So we were actually looking at timelines yesterday, and I think I had initially said in June, the week of the 6th or the 13th, that it would be the launch in store, but it's now definitely not going to be the week of the 6th. It's going to either be the last half of June. So we're going to try and suggest something around the week of the 20th, 24th, deciding on, because we also need all of the brands to kind of be at the same stage. So from the 9th to the 18th of May, we'll do those one-to-one calls. Then after that, you have your boot camp sessions. So I'm setting up all of those now with people inside. Then following that, so I think it's going to be around maybe like the 27th of May. That's going to be like your final deadline that you've worked with Faces and Beauty Nation in order to get the assets that they need in order to upload that online. And then we look at launching in June. So when we come back after Eid break, maybe the middle of May, I'll have a clearer understanding of what week we'll do the launch at, because me and Sarah are super excited. We've never done this before, where we actually bring the brands or get you to come to Dubai. But we thought, because so many of you are here already, and we could really benefit off like showing you the stores, getting you to meet the Content Factory in person, Faces, Beauty Nation, setting up dinner events. Like we've so much on our mind that we want to do. So we'll give you more of an understanding around mid-May. We don't want to leave it too late, because obviously some of you have to book flights and things. But yeah, that's just more of the what's to come around, what's to kind of expect. And then you'll have, so whenever we start, by the way, we'll 100% have a minimum of 3 months in the store, online and offline. There might be a little bit more time after that. It might not just be the 3 months, but it'll definitely be a minimum. So just in case you're wondering, oh, if we start on the 6th, does that mean we still have a dead cut line? No, it'll be 100% a 3 months period at minimum. Rosemary, talk to me. What's going on in your mind?
Question, do we tentatively have a date for when you'd like for us to be in Dubai?
Yeah, so that's what I can't give you like complete clarity on. It's going to be, we're aiming that in June, it's either going to be like around the week of the 13th or the 20th.
Okay, cool. Just because, and I'm like, for sure we can change, but just because I'm coming to Dubai from like next week till June 1st. So if it's worth it to extend 1 week more, I'll do it. But if it's 22nd, then I'll go back and come back again, which no problem.
It definitely won't be, and the reasoning
First
being.
week of June. Okay.
But
Okay.
when you're here, let us know. And
I will.
and stuff
That's
like
for
that.
sure. But I was just like, yeah, that's.
Zara. So we do love getting to see you all and stuff. And like I know with Celia and Irina, you're probably, and Zena, the three of you are all going to have to like make a bigger flight as well. You're all outside of the Middle East. And so I'll try to give you as much visibility as soon as possible. I'm very conscious of that fact. Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. Actually, yesterday, Celia and I were like on this emergency mode where we work best in a very good, positive way, getting one, what you mentioned in terms of production, like we were ready to put a production in like yesterday, because we're like, we need at least like a month production time. A couple of weeks, I think most labs do, depending on the batch and so on. So this is very, very good, I think, and seems very like realistic. So I think for that, it's very kind of clear and makes sense. I think in terms of the two of us being in Dubai physically, we want to, like, we're fully committed and we want to maximize that. I literally consider just moving to Dubai for a couple of months, both of us. So
yes, this is the type of commitment we want. You can stay with me. Let's go, Yalla.
This is something that it's already, you know, it's been a lot of time and resources, just an amazing opportunity. So we're definitely, yeah, this is something that both of us really committed and looking at like ways. The only thing for us that's just a bit of hesitance, like for me, it's not even like July, August, September, is that this May, June period, it's a bit, and I don't want to say difficult, but for example, like May, we're doing some launches in the US. Celia has to be in the US. Beginning of June, like so far, all of June, I was planning, I have tickets for, you know, everyone to be in the US, all of June to kind of some work we had to do with the lab plus the launches. So the idea was to come back here like first week of July, which I can make it way earlier or kind of shorten the trip. I'm just trying to kind of figure out, you know, this whole June period. That's for me a bit critical. Like, do I cancel everything now for the US or I make it shorter?
No, and
you know,
I think I think we're all like very understanding of each other that look, you are startups, and obviously coming into this program, it does take a lot of dedication, but at the same time, like Faces in Beauty Nation still do need time. So like if it's a joint thing, even with all of ye, that you would like that we select maybe the week of the 20th and 20th, the week of April, May, June, we say maybe the 20th to the 24th is our hopeful week instead of doing the 13th. I think a little bit more time is always better for us, because there's a few people that like, one will have to do registration, another one might need more product shots, another, like you have something that's cropping up at the first 2 weeks of June. So if we want, and we're all together as like deciding this, like you can also have your say on it as well, because we want to make sure that all of you can be here at once, and it's going to be like a team collaborative type thing, like just off the back of even yourselves doing marketing and what's going to be marketed on Faces, and having you here and like pushing out loads of social, like everyone's going to, it's going to have such a ripple effect. So we want to make sure that everyone is here, everyone feels part of it, and that everything is taken under consideration. So the more time, if you need that, then we can plan it for the week of the 20th to 24th. There possibly could be a delay when you're dealing with Faces and Beauty Nation, they're two stores. But we can aim for that, and at least that way that can be in your mind, and I can translate that to them, that the earliest date it will be the 20th to the 24th. And in that way, you can block that in as that's going to be the earliest date you will be launching. Do you want to do that? Would you be happy? Would everyone be happy to have that agreement?
I mean,
just so I can understand.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I think from Renaroot's side, and I guess Celia, you agree as well, it's for us is as the latest as possible, especially in June, because that's the 1 month that we were planning. So we can cut the trip like a week or two and plan around that. But if we can postpone that as further, and also I think, you know, it's such an amazing opportunity to maximize in terms of like marketing and production, whatever we need. If we need to do, I'm already thinking like videos, podcasts, what we can do as well side by side, what's happening with this project, but also what we can do side by side to make sure we drive, you know, in terms of our network in the region, which right now, like all of these things. So the more time we have for us.
I wouldn't be too worried, because I think one thing that will give you more visibility is when you come back and you have those big, huge meetings with Faces and Beauty Nation, you're all going to be building out roadmaps of what your brand looks like in terms of production, marketing, capabilities coming up to that period in time. And like also like, you know, when I knew that we were dealing with Beauty Nation, I reached out to the team to say, hey, I know you have a podcast. How about for the second month when they're selling, or the third month, to keep the momentum that we bring on the founders? So like, there's going to be opportunities that crop up and arise, but I wouldn't keep pushing it back for the sake of just having more time. Like at that stage, we're going to have a sweet spot of time where it's over a month. But I would say have the meetings. I'll be speaking with all of you. I'll have one-to-ones with you as well. Between the 9th and the 18th, once you've had all your meetings with Faces and Beauty Nation. So then I can work with you to say, okay, now you know what the commercial teams can do for you. Now you know what the boot camp and programs, what else do we want to have? Because I want us to work together as a team to kind of be like, what KPIs do you want by the end of this program? Like, is it that you know, and I can build that out with you. But I would say you'll have a lot more visualization on what that roadmap will look like and what you'll be able to do, and how you bring in your network and the other stuff that you can run alongside the program, and take initiative on that by having those meetings with Faces and Beauty Nation. It will give you that inspiration. But it's a good point. Like, I mean, leverage the hell out of this program. So whatever we can do, however much you need to push for things with me and stuff, like, just do it for sure.
Thank you. I think my perspective on just pushing it later is just conscious of the Dubai peak months, and that the summer months tend to be a lot quieter. So it's more about just getting visibility in stores when there's just more people in stores and more people in Dubai. So that's why my perspective is the later we push it, the better, because then at least maybe we can get some sidetrack of September, maybe October.
Yeah, to be honest, I'll be realistic with this. I had a meeting this morning, and I think you'll be in the store for the full of September for sure. Okay. So like, like that's why I said don't, like, you'll definitely be a minimum of 3 months, but I wouldn't bank on it just being those 3 months, because I'm pretty sure Faces and Beauty Nation, and this depends as well on obviously how engaged you are throughout the program. They'll try to continue that cycle as long as possible, especially because they want to look good as well. So they'll possibly want that September month captured as well.
Yeah.
But good point.
Dubai summer months.
Like nobody told me like this. So when I arrived July 15th last year, landed, and then my boss was like, oh, by the way, we have 4 days of public holidays, so you don't start for another week. I forgot to tell you. And then when I came back, nobody was in the office for like another month and a half, and I was just sweating in Dubai for a month and a half trying to get to meet people that was new. It was such a strange experience. Whereas now I'm like, oh, I know when to plan my holidays all the summer long period, because nobody works in Dubai during the summer. But yeah, so it'll be good. So yeah, we definitely want to keep that in mind, because we want to make sure that you have the best opportunity selling as well. So we look at branching it out September wise, and then at the end of the program we'll also do a demo day. So we don't have clarity on what that looks like yet, but it will be similar to the people that already seen you in terms of the pitching, where you get to re-pitch to them in terms of where your brand stands now and where you're going in the future, to the group. And then I'll release more information, because I want to blow this shit up, but we have to wait to see what I can work with first in order to do that.
Got it. And also thank you just for being such a champion of
thanks, Ina,
working with all of us. We really appreciate it.
No problem. And it's Sarah too behind. She's like doing major recon work behind here. But no, we're super excited and we love other founders. And I don't know if Sarah mentioned before, but Sarah's actually ex-entrepreneur as well in the beauty scene. So so yeah, so we have just genuine love and passion for this as well. So like we'll make sure that we get the most out of this free. And for us, so we're super excited, and that's why I want you really to come to Dubai so that we can all have a good time and like actually get to know each other. So, but yeah, any more questions on things? Celia, yeah, you're on mute.
Sorry, I keep on doing that. I have two questions, and
Go.
if better to tackle them offline, we can. One question is about registration of products. So can you explain a little bit about the requirement for that and the time that it takes to do that? And then the second question I had was about language on our physical packaging. So right now we only have English and French on our boxes. Will it be something that's over-labeled? Is it a requirement to have Arabic on the actual physical packaging? Because we don't right now at the moment.
Yeah, good questions. So in terms of the first one of registration, you're registered to sell in UAE, yes?
We are not.
You're not. Okay, so that registration, where are you registered currently?
Our products are, go ahead, Anna. Oh, I thought she wanted to speak. She's on mute. Okay. Right now it's just US, and then we're in the process of the EU registration.
Okay, cool. I'll put you in touch because there's one other brand as well. So I'll put you in touch with Ellie, and Ellie will look after getting that registration up and running and done. That process, to be honest, I'm not sure because I haven't registered products before. My background as well isn't beauty, so that's why I can't give you visual on that. And also it's the same person who will discuss with you in terms of labeling as well. So
okay.
Is there anyone else that's not registered here? I know there's with Kavish and them, I had the call yesterday, but is there anyone else who's not registered to sell in UAE? No. Okay, cool. So yeah, so Celia, we'll get on that pronto.
Okay.
Because I don't know what that looks like. Have you gone in to look at what the registration looks like for here? I know we sent out documentation before on the different documents that's needed. Maybe we can resend that. Yeah, I can resend. We can resend that to you, Celia, in the starter pack. Have you looked into it at all prior to the program?
No, because up until the application of the program, we weren't looking to register in the region at the moment. So yeah, we actually haven't started the process yet. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll get that to you today because we overeat, try and get as much of that information as possible. I'm not sure how long the process does take, but I know that you can, like Dubai is not the easiest of it. I think it's different with Palma because their manufacturing is here. So their manufacturer is already compliant and stuff. So it's going to be super, it should be super smooth. But let's look at that because the Faces team will need to be aware of it as well.
Okay, thank you.
Rosemary, what can we do for you?
I just want to say that to Celia and Arina that I did register the products like a month ago or 2 months ago, and it was very easy and very fast. And I worked with the company. I can also share the content, but also a contact. But I don't know if Shalhoub is to have a team internally that does this. But in any case, I'm happy to help you and guide you. It's super easy.
Thank you so much.
It's just work, but it's easy. It's not like
I would especially over Eid break because our teams aren't working. So guys,
okay, I'll send you the guidelines.
Thank you
just
so much.
Have your WhatsApp numbers. I would 100% start working on that over the break. And Rosemary, thank you so much. This is so cute. You guys are so awesome. I love this. But yeah, we'll make it all work, and I think then the later in June I think is better than just so we're giving ourselves buffers and times.
And on the language, because we already started working on like deluxe and samples. Anything that you can give us, like we are, like I said, in work mode already on languages. Yeah.
So what I would say in that is that I think for everyone, maybe would you like me to set up maybe a one-to-one, maybe like boot camp, just even for like 30 minutes to an hour on labeling what you should do in Arabic, like what works well in Arabic and what doesn't, because I know for a lot of the products that I have, there isn't Arabic on them. I know you might have to have a label for like legal requirements, but are you interested in understanding if you should or shouldn't do Arabic in terms of branding?
Yes, I mean,
that would be great.
Noted. Okay. Any more questions? No, that's good. And like I said, the program is it's not like just one size fits all. We give you the 2 weeks and then you're gone. Like this is the kind of stuff that I wouldn't have foresight on. So the more information and feedback you give me, the more I can tailor this to the group that we have here. So any other? No, all good. Okay, guys. And so, yeah.
I wanted to add one. I hope that's like it was going to take like 2 seconds. Another thing that for us that it's a bit of concern already working is figuring out, not figuring out, but planning already in terms of production quantities and shipping times, like lead times for, you know, for all that. So that's always something that we want to run as smoothly as possible and prepare ahead as much as possible.
So from the 9th to the 18th, you'll get those meetings because you're going to have like 2 hours with Faces and 2 hours with Beauty Nation, one-to-one. So it'll just be yourself and Celia, and they're going to deep dive into everything. So like your SKUs, how much it costs, how much you need to have in store, sampling. There'll be people there. So there'll be people on the calls as well that can help you with sampling in terms of like what works well and what doesn't, especially for like the type of product and because I know yours is like the serum base, so like what works well for it, what should be designed on the packaging, and then they'll also decide with you like what is your normal lead time from when you work with, and they work back from the live date with that with you.
Yeah, that's great. Just because like 9 to 18th, it's already like almost 20 days. So that's why we're trying to kind of get whatever we could even before, because that's like a 20-day window.
Yeah,
but
I think it's because they're off for Eid next week. And yours is probably going to be on the middle of the 18th. It won't be at the 18th. It'll probably be a few days before that, because they've given me, based on the amount of SKUs people have and stuff, they've given me an order that they want to see you in. Okay. Thank you. Rosemary, you're so cute.
I just want to say that, but again, like this is my personal recommendation. You don't have to follow it, but I shipped one pallet with 80 boxes that has around 1,000 products today, and by air. So it will get there in a week. So you can always ship by air, fast, okay, more expensive, and ship a pallet to start. I mean, this is my personal, again, recommendation.
No worries, I will ask you after this.
Rosemary, by the way, Rosemary is like the brains when it comes to like automation, logistics. Like this girl has such a great head on her. It's insane. So if you're ever in Lebanon, she's got a really cool manufacturing plant that I want to also go to as well. So hopefully we can extend the invite to everyone.
I would love to have you all in Lebanon, but no, seriously, like just talk to me. I've already shipped a pallet, and then I think Faces said that they would like for us to sell 200 units per month. So times 3, that's like 600. So a pallet has 1,000. So more or less the same. If you want to be optimistic and sell more, then you can ship 2 pallets. By the way, like again, I don't know if I should give any recommendation or not, but I'm just sharing my thought process.
Totally, you know, that's how I thought. That's so helpful.
Yeah, that's just how I thought about it myself. Okay, I removed my raised hand and.
Daphne, I seen that you had a question as well.
Yeah, so I want to say something about the registration because I also did it recently. And my experience was for some products, it was just really quickly, actually like within a week you get the certification. But for some products, they have really like detailed feedback. For example, even though it's just a small sentence you have to change. and then you change it, apply it again, and then yeah, it went all really smoothly. So and also
Who did
regarding
you work with, Daphne? Can you share the name of the company? I
yes,
just want
it
to check
was-
if it's the same.
yeah, Riz and Mona.
Okay. Ah, yeah, I looked at them online,
Yeah,
and but I
they were really
ended up
helpful.
working with another guy called Elegant Service, so we
Okay.
can share
Yeah.
both contacts.
That was really good. And also regarding the language, the Arabic was not required. So I have only the English yeah, guidance on the packaging, but yeah, maybe for marketing it would work better. So I would love to discover, but for legal it was not required.
Yeah. Thank you so much. You
Thank
guys are
you.
amazing for sharing your experience.
Oh yeah, Kavish is just asking, so Daphne and Rosemary, can you put the agents' names into the chat box, because
Maybe in the WhatsApp instead of.
or actually yes, that's why we got the good, we pay her the big bucks. Yeah, into the WhatsApp group, guys. If you can put in like the names, that'd be really cool. Also, so one thing, and this is completely up to you guys, but would you like to have like bi-weekly or yeah, bi-weekly every 2 weeks?
Bi-monthly.
Bi-monthly, thank you, I'm so well. Bi-monthly, like just group sessions where we actually just catch up with each other and say, how is everybody doing? Is there anything else that you want? I'm conscious of the fact, I know with the last program that we ran, a lot of the founders didn't know other founders in the beauty space and in the fashion space for the other program. So we just ran like weekly meetings where you just caught up, said what was working well, what isn't, what are other people doing, blah, blah, blah. Is this something you'd like set up, or even like once a month where we do a check-in? Would you like something like that?
That would be great.
Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5. Amazing.
Oh my God, we can totally use the same thing we use at the greenhouse. Where's the poop?
Yeah, so we do objective or like yeah, we can give you a template so that everyone can share like what's been their updates with the company and what's going on. And at the bottom of our like our like updates from like last week, we have this section called Where's the Poop, which is like what happened or like what didn't get done or who was roadblocking us or something like that, that something didn't happen, so that it just gives us like a bit of a leeway. So we can do up even something like that, that everyone can give updates on like what's happening with your companies, what are you doing. I think all of you would be interested in hearing how other people's journeys are going, because you're all in like a little bit of different industries with the products as well. So I will note that. Is there any particular days people would like to have this on, by the way? And is morning times working for everyone, like a 10 to 11 session on like a Friday in 3 weeks or something?
Yeah, that should work, I think.
Okay. Awesome. I'll get that set up Friday. And we'll do our first one.
Yeah, should work.
Right. I will stop the recording. I should have done probably a little bit before this. Does anyone have any last questions? No, great, silence. Well, guys, honestly, it's like super exciting to work with you all. I think you can see between myself and Sarah, we're super passionate about this, and it's just, you make it even better. The founders that you are, the products that you have, and it's been like so well received with the group and all the places that we're working with. They're so excited to work with you. So I will be on WhatsApp during the week all next week. So like, honestly, don't worry that it's Eid or whatever, like drop me a message whenever you need something. I'm back properly the following week, but we'll send out either like today, hopefully by the end of today, that starter pack, so that you can just start working on all the documentations. And if you have any questions in the meantime, just fire them over. But I hope you all have a lovely week, a lovely weekend, and thanks again for your time and just coming on with enthusiasm. It's really, really cool. I'm very excited.
Thank you guys. I hope everyone has a great
Thank
break.
you, Sinead. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Keep in the
Enjoy your
background
break.
somewhere.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
I can hear